Fantastic. I am looking for the practices. Exactly. Um,
If you weren't prepared for that this time, don't worry about it.
okay, awesome. Thank you. Um, although I'm remembering things like mentor one another and developing relationships. I think those both apply to what I was planning to share. Um, this past Monday, um, my wife's church, Advent Lutheran Church in Manhattan, hosted the kind of directors of an organization called Organizing for Mission, which some of you may very well be familiar with. Um, and I wanted to just share a little bit about how that went. Um, they began with I think some like uh, really good grounding questions, which were um, first of all, what are the communities that you're accountable to? Um, Not like a part of, not like leading, not like have authority over, but that you're accountable to. I think that I have not heard that question put in that way. Um, so I was grateful for that starting, and then I think fostered some really good communication among the group that was like gathered there. It was just a couple of like Lutheran pastors in the area, and so we all like kind of knew each other. But framing it as the communities that we're accountable to was really helpful, I think. Um, and then the next set of questions was where have you been feeling powerful, and where have you been feeling powerless? Um, which again are questions that many of us are going to be familiar with. But for that group, it was kind of like, oh yeah, wow, this is going to be really helpful, and this is really helpful for us right now. When Haley's co-pastor and my good like friend and mentor um, was talking about um, New York hasn't quite seen the like crisis of food like need that we might have expected because the governor has like been funding SNAP through um, November, even as you know the administration is trying to say don't do that, which is ridiculous. But still, they've seen a huge uptick in the amount of people calling, like looking for food, um, and she shared how much that's been like weighing on her. Like, oh my gosh, this is like taking up a lot of her mental, physical, spiritual energy, just like responding to those calls. Um, and so she said, like, each of us here in this group of like Lutheran pastors that are gathered are like doing our own independent ministries, like Trinity Lower East Side, like you have services and food. Whoa, whoa! How did I gotta figure out what movement does that. Okay, that's a later thing. Um, so like my church, um, was not expecting that. Whoa, has a ministry called Services and Food for the Homeless that's been a staple in the community for a long, long time. We have a legacy of doing this. Um, uh, Another Lutheran church had a prominent food ministry. Advent Lutheran Church has a prominent food ministry. We've all been operating like independently for so long, and now we're seeing this need of like suddenly uptick and like look like it's gonna keep upticking. How much? She's like, why are we? I wonder what would happen if we all came together and pooled our resources and collectively kind of like decided to take some more drastic, maybe systemic action to try and address this, which reminded me of the conversation that Pastor Robin has shared of like how long about these like women and childcare experiences. How long are we going to let these people do this alone before we bring them together? Um, all of which is to say um, that um, I'm feeling some power in the connections that are being built, and some hope, I guess, maybe is a better word than power right now. But between this kind of on the heels of the um, organizing that was done around the New York's mayor, like Zoran Mandami, um, and like Seattle just elected a Democratic Socialist mayor. Like all of these, all of these things are proving that organizing is making an impact in the world. Um, and so um, I just wanted to share those questions and those um, moments of energy with y'all. That's all I got.